saying hello. I'm glad that you guys are here with me tonight. And this is a week of final classes because we just wrapped up the blueprint yesterday, which is the year-long mentorship. And tonight we are going to wrap up trading psychology. So really excited to finish this class up. I'm going to miss you guys. So just to kind of give you kind of how my courses work during the year is every November I do a new free class. So last year it was Profit Pioneers, where I went over a back trading system to practice your trading, develop your skill, keep track of your stats, and just a process to ensure that you're continually working, continually growing. And then this year I redid the trading psychology class. But next year, next November, I will have a new class to teach. It will be free. And I'm not sure what that one's going to be, but it'll be fun. I'll come up with something creative. And I'm looking for that. Looking forward to that. Obviously, that's over a year away, but just to put that on your radar. But let's go ahead and jump in here tonight into the content and let me share my slides. And I'm sure that you guys uh, won't be upset being that it is nighttime, but this is actually the shortest class of the five that we've done here. So we will get you guys out at a decent time here this evening, as long as I don't ramble. And real fast, before we jump in, I do want to show you guys this. So I got to show you a little trading view, all right? Because I always try to keep you informed about what's happening in the markets. But this was Broadcom here, who reported earnings today. And it wasn't a great week of earnings for mega cap tech because Oracle reported they got crushed. And for a while, it seemed, hey, man, Broadcom, look at this. They spiked up from close about $17, so almost 4.5%. And it was holding. You could see here that it held pretty steady until about, what time was this? 5:09 p.m. when the conference call started. You saw this upper wick come in and then boop, waterfall, and this thing dropped. And so it's not down crazily. I mean, we were at these levels not that long ago. You go back to, let's see. I mean, it was December. So when it hit this price action. So it looks like a crazier drop than it actually is. But if we just measure this out from that post-market high that it hit, it did drop $42. And that is putting a little bit of downside pressure on futures right now. Bitcoin, which was rallying along with big tech and with Broadcom, that kind of sold down a little bit. But keep this in mind, with the rates being cut, that opens the door for rotation into other stocks that have been beat up. That's why you saw the Qs red today, but the Dow Jones, new all-time high. IWM, which is a small caps, all-time high. So look for continued rotation. And I just wanted to put that out there because this is what I do. I love to share it. And tomorrow should be fun. But enough with the chart talk. Let's get into some trading psychology, our final class here. I had my slides there. Give me 1 second. And let me share this. Share. Present. Bam. Here we go. All right. Class number 5, trading psychology. Courage pays better than fear. I'm your grateful host here, Jeremy Ritz. Our outcomes. We have developed the system for you to guide your trading in 2026. We reflected on your beliefs about money, winners, losers, wealth. We went over all of that. And tonight you'll be happy to know you don't have to write anything. This is more of just going over routines and structures for your trading. So we'll talk about that. We went over tools to track your trading, to keep a log of your wins and losses, your profits. We analyze your beliefs. We strengthen those beliefs beliefs, and you're leaving here with a personalized system that's going to lead your trading in the new year. And hard to believe, we actually started before the 20th of November, but we are here in the final class, December 11th. Only 20 days left in this month. So it is moving along at a pretty fast clip. And before you know it, it will be Christmas. And tonight we're going to bring it all together. We're going to talk about your trading routine. This is really the last piece that fits into trading psychology because your routine does impact your state, your emotional state, your psychology. And most people never, honestly, never stop to think about, all right, where am I trading? And trading is location independent. You can do it anywhere, but you should have a consistent place, routine, and structure for how you do that. So I'm going to show you some best practices around that, an example of a trading routine. I'm going to show you what I do, how that's changed over the course of my trading journey. And then what we'll do at the end, we'll review all the steps from this. And then tomorrow, what I'll do is I'm going to send you guys just a summary email of the course. It'll have all the videos in there. It'll actually be a playlist on my YouTube channel, so you can revisit these anytime you'd like. And that's it. We're going to put a bow on this thing. So I'm going to miss you guys. So I'm really trying to be in the moment and just enjoy doing this last class with you here. So. We are talking about your trading routine and environment. And yes, your daily routine does matter because a routine basically what that insinuates, it's a structure, it's a process that you're following consistently. And it's processes, it's rituals and not rituals like if you're thinking like some kind of voodoo crazy stuff like that. No. It's just what are those repeated behaviors and actions that you take daily as part of your trading. And it's also your surroundings and your environment. So we want to think about that because we're really trying to be intentional. And so when we talk about trading routine and environment, there are a few things that we're looking at here. We're talking about location. We're talking about comfort. You don't want to be uncomfortable when you're trading because the trade is probably going to make you uncomfortable enough, right? When we're talking about psychology, we're talking about tools, ambiance, time, pre-market prep, and a start and stop ritual. So let's go through each of these, and I want you just to think about how you do this currently, right? And how you would evaluate and assess yourself for this. So your location, where is it that you trade? And I'm just curious if you guys could drop in here. Paul says habits, absolutely. Drop in here. Where I'm just curious, where is the typical place that you trade? I'm going to share with you my routine, but I'm curious, where do you guys trade? All right, Bill and Heather, home office. Nice. Rajan, home office. Awesome. Wade, home office. Nice. David is the corner of the basement. All right, cool. Joseph trades at work. Okay. What else do we got here? All right, yeah. So really, you got to find a space that's comfortable for you, and it should be an area where you enjoy being. And I'll talk to you about where I do mine. But then also as part of that location is your comfort, your seating, your lighting, temperature. Are there distractions in that space? Do you have access to beverage and food? Do you like to have snacks handy or drinks? I know that being that I'm a morning trader, I typically don't trade in the afternoon. I've got my coffee always there with me, and I probably drink too much coffee, so I'm always wired. But thinking about those things, just making sure that you're comfortable because you want to be in that good psychological, emotional state so that you are able to focus on your trading. And being that I'm home now, I'm not in a school anymore. When I first started, I was trying to trade where my kids were when they were home over the summer, and that just wasn't a good mix. But that was also the time where I would literally start trading. I would be in front of the computer uh, 8 a.m. and I would trade all the way until the end of the day, which I don't do that anymore. I don't recommend it because it leads to over trading and it leads to lost money. So the distractions component is important, trying to eliminate those so that you're able to focus on what it is that you're doing. Justin says basement bar or wherever work sends me. Yes, and with your line of work, I know that it can send you in some crazy places. Tools. What tools are you using? Laptop, desktop, notebook, calculator, chart. And for me, a lot of people ask, "Oh, you must have like a really elaborate setup, like with multiple monitors." I'm probably the most simple, basic trader ever. I have my MacBook Pro that I use. I'm actually going to be upgrading this probably this summer. Um, but that's it. I don't have multiple screens. I do have my phone at times where I'll have, some charts pulled up here, or if I'm looking for information on a ticker, if I'm on X or something, and I want to just do a little bit of research, I'll do it there. But I like to keep my setup simple. And then there's ambiance, music, inspiration, quotes. Do you have things around you that just contribute to a positive mindset? And I do like to, when I first started, I did trade with music, and I'll do that every once in a while. And I used to have a song, and I'll talk to you guys about this, where whenever I would start my trading day, I would play this song, and it would anchor me for what I was about to do. And that's kind of shifted a little bit. Now I like to just have like some type of instrumental music playing in the background. Like I'll go to YouTube and look up music for studying and just something very relaxing playing in the background. And that's kind of my soundtrack for trading. And I also do this for probably like the first 30, 45 minutes is I am a big fan of CNBC in the morning, Squawk Box with Andrew Ross Sorkin, Joe Kernan, and Becky Quick because they are very much in touch with the markets. They have a lot of great guests on there involved with the markets, and you can pull some great information there. So I do have that running in the background just to hear what's happening on the street and pulling some information. So that's something that I like to have going in the background. And then time is another part of this. You have to define your trading hours. And you guys know, and I talk about this all the time. I'm straight 9:30 to 11:30. Sometimes I will go over till like noon, but it's pretty rare. And the only time that I'll really go beyond that is, let's just say that I have a substantially large position. Let's say that I have a lot of confidence in something I'm going huge risk on. Then I'll be a little bit more intently focused and may run over that 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. time. But that happens very, very rarely. Not to say that it doesn't happen. Last Friday, I was actually closing some things out, some longer term things. So I did trade a little bit longer. But you need to have a defined period for when you trade, and that's part of the routine. And then there's also your pre-market prep, which we've talked about before, scanning your tickers, identifying setups, preparing your charts, reviewing trades. But really, your pre-market prep starts. So for tomorrow, for me, it starts tonight. So I already know the charts that I'm going to be looking at closely. And that really begins on the weekend. Whenever I do the charting for the community, I'm identifying, all right, these are my top setups for the week. So when I go into Sunday and I'm looking at the futures market open and I'm seeing what off hours trading looks like in interactive brokers, then I can get a feel for what potentially is going to happen. So that pre-market prep, that's something that you need to define as well. And then finally, a start-stop ritual. I really encourage this. Something that signifies the beginning of your trading, and I'll talk to you about what I used to use. And then the ending. What are those things that say, all right, I'm getting started. Here we go. I'm starting to trade. And then, all right, I'm done. This is how I know I'm shutting it down. And this just communicates to yourself, this is the beginning time and this is the ending time. So you have clear parameters for what you're about to do. All right, so for me, this is my trading routine and environment. But again, you think about this for yourself and make sure that you've optimized these elements for your own personal trading, right? So right now, my location, I trade in my sunroom. So I don't have a home office. I was in an office for a very long time as an assistant principal and a high school principal, and I never want to be back in an office again. I kind of like being a roamer, if you will. And there for a period of time, I traded in my kitchen, but the sunroom where I trade now, tons of windows, the sun pours in, and it just feels comfortable in here. So this is my space, right? So I'm actually in here right now. This is my setup. And in terms of comfort, that natural light always feels good. I can see what's happening outside. If it's sunny, that's always uplifting. If it's snowing, which being in this winter time, that's always nice. There are tons of deer that come through our yard. We got squirrels, foxes run through here. So, that's nice to look at. Um, Temperature's good, and then I'm also available for my family. Let's say that the kids are off on a particular day, that 9:30, 11:30 time, they know, all right, dad's trading. This is what he's doing, but I'm able to go and assist and obviously prioritize my fatherly duties over trading if I'm needed. And it's also very close to the kitchen so that I could go continue to hammer my coffee. Tools for me, again, very, very simple. Got my MacBook that I use. I have a notebook, which I'm not a big computerized writing down traders. I just have like an artist sketch notebook. All right, I don't know if you guys can see this here. You can't see it. But it's just basically a sketchbook. I write all my trades down, entry, stop loss, profit taker. And I force myself to write it down just because it slows me down and makes me not be impulsive. But it's pretty simple. And then I have just a little pen that I use. I think I mentioned calculator and my phone. That's it. Very, very simple. And then in terms of ambiance, I talked to you about instrumental music. That's what I use. Motivational music. Sometimes I'll light a Christmas tree candle. I like that balsam smell. Or I'll have something that I'll read that's motivational before I get started. And I used to have this song that I would listen to that I would play when I would sit down at the computer. I'm like, all right, here we go. And it's actually this motivational song. It's not even a song. It's this guy, business owner, Naval Ravikant is his name, and he's basically talking about the power of reading. And so basically, it's this lecture that he gives where he says, "Read what you love until you love to read." And there's this guy who takes these motivational speeches and talks by people and puts them to music. His name is Akira the Dawn, and I would play that whenever I was getting ready to trade, and that would just put me. I don't know why. It would just put me in a state for, all right, this is what we're about to do. And then time. So typically, I will do a check-in at 4 a.m. when the pre-market opens, just to see what's happening there. For a while, I was getting up at 4 a.m. and I have periods where I do that during the year. But naturally, I'll just wake up and check, all right, here's what's happening pre-market. And then scans from about 7 to 7:15, while I'm doing the family thing. And then really 8:45 is when I lock in and it's time to get going and trading until 11:30. And then my pre-market prep, scanning my watch list, looking for any tickers that I see popping off of news. Disney was one of those today, with the partnership with OpenAI, and I was able to catch that on a nice scalp on a pullback today really quickly. So those are all things that you could spot early on, or if you're watching the news or you're reading the news. Then I write down my setups in my notebook. and you guys know that the way that I trade, I really look for traps. I like that crossover, the 10 through the VWAP, gaps. I like to trade news. And then I'll set up the initial trade in TradingView, and I read through my plan every day. I look at my values, my beliefs, my mission, all those things every day. That's right in front of me. So again, I'm locked in and I know what I need to do. And then I told you what used to be my starting ritual, which was that song. My ritual now is I come in, I put on CNBC, I put Squawk Box on, and that's going in the background as I'm scanning and I'm writing down my notes for the trades that I'll take. And then when I shut it down, what I do is if I've closed out my trades for the day, I go in and I enter in my log, the P&L log that I shared with you guys. I put in the profit that I made that morning, or if it's a losing trade, I put what my loss is, just so I'm seeing something tangible. And that's the signal to me that, hey, that window is done, that 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. It's time to go about doing other things, building the businesses, the channels, all of those. So that is my routine. That's my environment. And what I'm recommending for you guys to do is just go through each of these areas, the location, comfort, tools, ambiance, time, your pre-market prep, and your start and stop ritual. Again, if there's one thing that you're going to take away from this class is that you have to be specific and intentional about all parts of your trading, what your beliefs are about winning and losing, how you maximize winners, how you minimize losers, how you track your data, how you control your emotions, how you follow your plan, even down to that routine that you follow. It is all important. And if you're going to be the best trader you can be, you have to be intentional about all these things. And even though this is the last class and we're going over this last, doesn't mean that it's not important. It is important because we dedicated one full class to it. So the takeaway from this is to evaluate these areas when it comes to your trading and actually think about it and consider, are there little tweaks that you can make to your routine that can help put you in a better state, or just help you feel more free or in the zone so that you can trade at your highest level. So, my question to you right now is, what is the biggest part? We talked about your location, but when you reflect on these pieces, what would you say is the biggest thing that resonates for you in terms of your routine? Meaning, is there one thing that you do right now that is an absolute must for your trading in terms of a routine? I'm just curious to hear, and it's an opportunity for us to learn and share with each other. Prayer. Yeah, I mean, putting those positive words out there to your higher power, to God, is definitely a centering activity to put you in the right state of mind. Bill and Heather, faith-based prayer, absolutely. So that's great, 100%. Justin says maybe I should start that again. That's the whole purpose for sharing. Tammy, meditation, absolutely. Again, just connected to that spiritual side, that the mental side, calming ourselves down, getting in that right state. Wade, saying my why and my rules out loud. That's a great one, right? Because it's one thing to read it, but when you're saying it out loud, you're speaking it into existence. So, Wade, that I really like that one. That's pretty powerful. I might have to take that from you, brother. Awesome. Anybody else? And that's okay. If nobody else wants to share, I'm just making sure I give enough time for you guys to put your responses in there. But the takeaway here is, and we're not going to do this tonight because I had you guys write a lot the first four classes, but I really want you to reflect on all these areas in relation to your routine and consider writing it out. Like writing out those headers: location, comfort, tools, ambiance, time, pre-market prep, start and stop ritual, and writing down that routine for yourself. Because again, the more intentional, the more specific that you can be about it, the more that you're going to be likely to follow it. And that ties into the discipline piece, where as traders, we have to be disciplined and follow our plan. And that routine is where that plan lives, right? Your plan lives within your routine. And if you don't have a routine, right, if that's one of the things that comes out of this session, that you don't have a process that you're following every day, you're not doing the same thing, then I could tell you that that is something that you want to make sure that you build out. Again, you have to treat this like a business, and you have to treat it as a sacred thing, because again, the fact that we are able to press buttons, and I mean, think about this. We literally press a button, and when the trade works out in our favor, we are getting money automatically deposited in our account, right? Think about that for a second. Where else does that happen? So we have to treat this with the utmost respect. And we talked about market humility last week. You have to. That you've got to put that energy out there, that you realize how blessed it is to know and have the knowledge and skill to be able to do this, because not everybody does. Not everybody takes the time to do it. And one of the ways that you honor that is by following what we talked about here in this class. And part of that is your routine. So if you don't have a routine tonight, I'm asking you, develop your routine for 2026. This is the last piece in your system. You have everything else. You have the beliefs, the vision, the values, you have your trading plan, you have the tools for tracking your profits and losses. You have all of that. The last piece of the puzzle is your routine. All right. So after this session is over, because we'll probably wrap up a little early tonight, write down your routine. It literally will take you 5 to 10 minutes to do it. This is what I do. This is where I trade. This is how I ensure I'm comfortable. These are the tools that I use. This is what I use to create the environment or the ambiance to make me feel in state. This is the time. This is how I prep for pre-market. This is my start and stop ritual. And again, putting it on paper makes it real. And maybe you'd want to follow what Wade is saying here. In addition to saying your why aloud and reading your rules aloud, maybe you want to read your trading routine to yourself, just to reinforce that, hey, this is the process that I have to follow to ensure I'm in the best position for success. All right. And this is a great quote here. The secret of your future is in your daily routine. And it's not just related to trading, it's in all areas of your life. If you want to level up in any area of your life, you've got to have the routine that's going to force you to take the actions to make that a reality. And so, for all of those things in your life, your priorities, what is most important to you, look, not just trading, but look at your routines. What are you doing on a daily basis to make sure that you're making progress in those areas? And it starts with your routine. And so, if your goal is to continue to grow and develop as a trader, to improve, to get better, then the secret of your future truly is in that daily routine. All right. So, reviewing here, everything that we've covered in this class up until today, we went over mindset. We covered your values, your vision, your beliefs. You develop goals. So you now have all of these in place for yourself for 2026. There's no lack of clarity. There's no confusion. You have it all spelled out for yourself. And you also have a process too for when you're to revisit and revise those. And I'll be sending these slides over to you guys as well. That's in the video because, again, you want to update these as time goes on. But these are the drivers, these are the why behind what it is that you're doing when you're trading. You have your plans, you have your trading plan. And some of you may have developed a long-term investing plan. You have the rules that you need to follow. So you're going into 2026 with that process that you're going to follow, the rules that you're going to follow when you take a trade. Now, the key is it's all well and great if you have that plan written down, but if you're not following it, you're going to lose money, right? So the reason why you have a plan is because you have to follow it. You now have systems. You can track your profits. You can track your losses. You're able to do daily, weekly, and monthly evaluations. And the strength and power in this is that over time, as you collect this information, you are able to review it and look back and just see how far you've come from when you started to where you are now. I often go back and look at my original trading logs, and I'm eventually going to do a video about it, but just some of the notes that I made about trades that I took, and it's humbling to look at where you started. And just looking back on the moments where I would type in there, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do this, the frustrations, and then seeing some of those wins come in and just reliving those experiences and those moments. But that's where the power of writing down, having a little trade journal where you reflect on things and then coming back and looking at it, that's really a powerful tool. We talked about your beliefs about losing, right? And we empowered your definitions of that. We've changed that. We made it so you don't look at losing as something where it's a horrible thing. It's just a natural part of the process. It is part of trading. You're going to lose, and I said this 100 times. If a trader ever tells you that they don't lose, they are full of you know what, candy canes and eggnog. It's just not true. You're going to lose in trading. And but the key is you should be learning from your losses. I forget what this quote was from. It was from a movie that I just watched the other day, and it was a Christmas movie. But it was something, and I'm going to mess this up, but it was something along the lines of the only thing that makes a failure a true failure is if you didn't learn from the experience. And I was like, you know what? That's pretty powerful. And some people might say, oh, that's just a moral win. That's just something to make yourself feel good. But it's true, right? If we just interpreted any time that we've ever struggled or didn't do well at something when we started and we just gave up, then we would have never persisted and pushed through to the other side. Right. So we have to look at those failures as learning opportunities. And we did that by looking at our beliefs about losing. But you want to continue to revisit those, reshape them, and make them stronger, right? So as time goes on, come back to them, make them even more empowering. The same thing, your beliefs about winning. We really went into depth about that. Same thing. You can't get too high about your wins, right? You need to get to the point where, like David said last week, it's like Barry Sanders. Um, okay, I'm using the football analogy again, but David D said, act like you've been there before, right? It's not like woohoo, like you could be excited, but you've got to be careful of not getting too arrogant, cocky, and thinking that you're smarter than the market because 9 times out of 10, what is coming for you is the market is going to humble you. It's going to happen. So if you ever feel like you're getting to that point where, oh man, I could do nothing wrong, that is your signal that you're about to get chin checked. So before you get to that point, be like, all right, I got to take a time out and just pause. Let me step back here a little bit because you got to maintain that market humility. And then finally, we went over environment and ritual, the setting, the tools, the mindset, ambiance. And so the key is you put all these things together. You guys put in the work over these 5 courses to develop all of these systems. And now you need to consistently revisit them, revise them, and update them to make sure they reflect where you currently are. So this class is a failure if you guys did this one time and you never come back to these documents, you never use them, and you're like, yeah, that was a cool class. But if you don't implement this, then you've basically wasted over 5 hours of your life attending this class. So since you've been here and you put the time in, make these a part of your everyday trading. And not only that, continually revisit them, use them, and update them. Right? That is key. If you don't do that, this, like I said, it's a waste of time. So make that a priority. You have to make it a priority. And I wouldn't be teaching an entire class on it for free, right? I could be chilling right now. I'm not doing that because I want to help other traders out there who are pushing to make this something that is a reality for them. And that's the biggest thing that I want you to take away from this is make this a part of what you do, revisit them, revise them, and you will see results as long as you stick with it and you don't give up. All right. And moving on. So I am here to help you guys. If you need anything, you can always email me. You guys have my email, but I'm giving you guys my cell phone. I think most of you have it. If you need something, I'm here to help you. Here's the thing. Trading is lonely because there aren't that many people out there who are in this space. So it's important that you have people to talk to who are doing what you're doing, who are striving to do what you're doing, and you have to be around people that are doing what it is that you're striving to do. So if there's anything that I can help you guys with, you can always reach out to me. If I don't get back to you right away, just give me some time. Again, three kids, lots of things going on. I will get back to you, but just give me some time to do that. But I'm always here to help you. So I want to make sure that you guys know that as we come up here on the end of this class. And just a few things. So I do these weekly war rooms, guys. This is a feature of the channel that I started doing. I wanted to do a recurring thing. I used to do what was known as Ask a Trader, but now I'm doing the war rooms. They're typically on Wednesday. That I'm going to have one tomorrow. And basically, it's an opportunity to come spend 30 minutes with me. And I'm going through, I'm doing chart analysis. If you guys have tickers that you want me to look at, if you have questions about the market, hop in. This is essentially a free opportunity to get some analysis or run your questions by me. So I've got one tomorrow, and that's going to be at 2:15. And I'm actually going to drop the link here um, in the chat for you guys so that if you want to join, you can do that. Let me copy this link, put this in the chat. So again, that's at 2:15 tomorrow. You can find that on my YouTube channel as well. And let me pull this back up. And then really from here, just kind of just sharing some wrap up things. And like I said, we're gonna get you out of here. Well, 9:10. I guess I kind of not cutting you guys loose too early. But just some other things too to keep in mind here. If I could just share this. Hang on. Let me come back to present mode. There we go. So yeah, the war rooms weekly. Join me for that. I've got the free New Year Wealth Accelerator class coming up January 5th through the 8th, 8:30 p.m. Learning the fundamentals of investing, swing trading. This is going to be fun. This first time I've done something like this. This is not my typical boot camp. This is going to be hands-on. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty. For some of you who are a little advanced in trading, uh, it might be a lot of review, but there are going to be some things I'm covering with investing that you can learn. So I would encourage you to sign up for this and share this with people who you think would benefit from it. And as an incentive, I'm paying you for me to teach you. So on the final night of the class, I am going to be giving $1,000 to one lucky participant who wins. Um, they will be selected on the fourth night, so you have to participate in all four nights, and one person is going to win $1,000 that they can use to fund their brokerage account so that they could start their 2026 off on a positive note. So I'd love to have you guys join me. I think some of you have signed up already, but think about people out there that you know who have talked about wanting to get into investing, wanted to get into trading. This is a great starting point for that. And then I also talked about the blueprint that's coming up for beginner traders. This is a 45 session class. We just wrapped this up. It's a year-long mentorship, personalized feedback. It's similar to this, but we're going over lessons, teaching you the ins and outs of the market, helping you become profitable. You get a one-on-one coaching session with that, and you get access to the Courage community for the entire year, which is pretty powerful. And then the other thing, I'm going to be having a in-person event next November. You'll get a discounted offering on that. So if you're interested in the mentorship, I'll have some information in the email coming out tomorrow. But that is going to do it. That is the end, guys. Trading psychology is done. It looks like we're going to wrap this up in 45 minutes here, session number 5. You guys have put in the time here. You've done a great job, and you've been super engaged. I appreciate you guys answering the questions that I put out there. I know it could be a little like awkward to share, but I appreciate you guys just being honest, thoughtful, and transparent in what you put in the comments. So my gratitude to you guys for that. And David says, this has been enlightening. David, I appreciate you, sir. And I'm glad you had that experience. Joseph, you are welcome. I'm glad to be able to spend this time with you, Rajon. Liked it, different from other courses. Rajon, you are welcome. And I'm looking forward to the work we are going to do here in 2026. Paul, awesome. Wade, I will see you tomorrow. Whoop, whoop. Bill and Heather, we got to keep this going. What am I going to do now? Next week, I'm going to be like, I'm going to have like this impulse to do it, and there's nobody to do it to. But anyway, guys, I want to wish you a happy holidays. I know it's not Christmas time yet, but if I don't talk to you until then, you're welcome, Justin. Just want to thank you for supporting me, for valuing what I'm doing by being here, for your support of the channel. Tammy, you're welcome. I'm glad that you did. But you guys mean a lot to me. So, like I said, I don't have students in a school building anymore, but I don't even call you guys students. I call you friends. So I'm just super grateful, and I hope you have a great night. And with that said, trading psychology is complete. Go now, go forth into 2026. You have everything that you need. And if I can help you, just reach out, and I'll see you in the blueprint. Let's go. 2026. All right, guys. Take care. Have a good night.